Hi, it's Sylvester. I'm stuck with this camera for the time being because my good HD camera is working just fine. It's just that the SD card, my laptop won't recognize my SD card anymore, and it's not the SD card. I have two different SD cards, so I tried both of them. My laptop won't recognize either of them, and I took them to the public library and tried one of their computers, and the SD card is working just fine. It's just that for whatever reason, my laptop will not recognize my SD cards anymore. So maybe it's about time to get a new laptop. Even though this one's only about 6 years old, it is a refurbished laptop. So technically, it's from 2013, but it was refurbished in 2018. And I feel like 6 years is not that long to have a laptop. So it should still. I mean, it's still working. It's still good. Still a good laptop. It's just that it won't recognize my SD cards anymore. So I'm not really sure what to do about that, but at least I have an external microphone and I'm not relying on my computer's microphone. So at least the audio is somewhat decent. So that's something to be grateful for. Anyway, I'm answering some random questions. I'm getting these questions from a website called conversationstarters.com. Let's see what the first question is. Do you shower in the morning or evening? I shower in the middle of the day. I used to shower at night, but then I would go to bed with wet hair and it would make my pillows wet, and I was scared my pillows were going to get moldy or something, so I stopped showering at night. Also, going to sleep with wet hair means you wake up with crazy hair in the morning. But yeah, I've always used to shower at night, but not anymore. Now I shower right in the middle of the day. I've never been a morning showerer. I don't know why. I'm just not feeling up to showering in the morning. I actually don't really like showers. I know showers for a lot of people are a nice, relaxing, meditative time, but for me, showering is a chore. I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it. I just don't like it. Unless it's like a really cold day and I'm having a nice warm shower on a cold day, that's fine, I guess, but I don't know. For the most part, I don't really like showering. Next question. What's one of your worst habits? I mean, my worst habit is probably smoking cigarettes. Don't smoke, it's bad for you. Do as I say, not as I do. But aside from that, what's another bad habit that I have? Um, uh, I don't know. I mean, my temper is probably, I don't know if that's a habit, but that's one thing that I definitely have been working on trying to control is that I'm a very fiery, passionate person, and it's very easy to piss me off. So I'm on medication that really helps with my anger. I used to have really, really bad anger issues. If you've been around this channel for a while, you probably know that. Or if you've been a part of my life for any amount of time, you probably know that it's very easy to piss me off. But again, I'm on medication that really, really helps with that. And I am doing therapy and learning coping strategies for my anger, but I do let my temper flare every once in a while. The video I just posted talking about how I got in a fight with this lady at church, that was again, I kind of let my anger flare up a little bit there. So I'm not super proud of that, but I'm proud that I handled it a lot better than I used to. Than I would have without medication in the past and before I started controlling my anger. I probably would have called her names and started using swear words. So, you know, I handled it better than I could have. Let's just say that. uh, Next question. Are you scared of dying and why? I mean, I'm actually not as scared of dying as I think most people are. Maybe that's because of the suicidal ideation that I've dealt with most of my life. But I'm not actively suicidal at the moment. It's just that I don't find dying to be the worst thing that can happen to a person, as weird as that might sound. It's, I mean, that being said, if somebody I love died, that would be a much worse than me dying. I'd rather I die than my mom die. Like, I hope I die before my mom does, you know. I'd rather die. For me, that's a much less horrible thing, because when I'm dead, I won't care. I won't be around. So no more pain, no more stressing out about stuff, no more negative anything. It's just, it'll all be over. It'll all be done. I don't see how that's that scary. You know what I mean? It is kind of scary if you believe in hell, and if you believe in an afterlife that punishes you, or if you believe, like, if I come back as a ghost, I feel like that would be hell for me, because then I'm just kind of stuck here and you can't really influence the world. Maybe you can make a door slam, but like you can't talk to anyone. You can't really you're just stuck being an observer forever, which sounds like a horrible existence. So there is some fear in what happens after I die. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not that scared of dying. I'm much more scared of a near-death situation. Like if I get hit by a car, which I've almost been hit by cars so many times. The people in this city drive like crazy. I drive like crazy people, I swear. Like I've almost been hit so many times. Just the other day, I almost got run over by a car. So, like if I get hit by a car and I die, that's fine, because I'll be dead and I won't be around to care about it. But if I get hit by a car and I end up in the hospital with like 8 broken bones, and then I have to learn to walk again, for me that sounds a lot worse than just dying. You know what I mean? Or like if I have a heart attack, I'd rather it kill me than have to go through like open heart surgery or whatever, because that sounds a lot more stressful and a lot worse. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm coming off as a little too suicidal. I don't actively want to die at the moment, but I have a strange relationship with the idea of death, I suppose. Anyway, this has been morbid. Let's change the subject. Where do you currently live? I live in Ontario, Canada. Next question. If you had $10 million, would you still be working / going to school? Well, that's an easy answer. I don't work. So, no, if I had $10 million, I absolutely would not work. I know there's people out there who's like, if I was a millionaire, I'd still work a 9-to-5 job. Like, I don't understand that. If I was a millionaire, I would never work a day in my life. Call me lazy, but I don't like working. I don't know. Maybe that's a controversial opinion to have, but from where I'm standing, it seems like a lot of people really don't like their jobs. So I feel like I'm not the only person who would say that if I was a millionaire, I would never work again. But I feel like people just say that they'd continue to work so they don't come off as lazy. It's like, oh yeah, I'd still work. It's like, would you though? Would you really? Probably not. Anyway, next question. How would you know if you were in love? I don't know. I have no idea. I've never really been in romantic love. I've never been in a relationship. I don't really know what it feels like to be in love. I love my family. I love people platonically in my life, but I've never really been in love. So I have no idea how to know if you're in love. The closest I can feel is like when I've had crushes on fictional characters. Like I was a huge fan of Supernatural, and Sam Winchester was always the guy I had a crush on. I know a lot of people are Dean people, and as I've grown up, I'm more a fan of Dean than I am of Sam now. But for the longest time, for most of my life, I was a Sam boy. And I was in love with the character of Sam Winchester, even though he's not real. If I were to meet a man like Sam Winchester, I would probably fall in love with him. So I guess that's the closest thing I know to love, is my feeling towards Sam Winchester. Next question. What's in your fridge? Currently, not very much. I have some peppers. I have water. I think that's it. I don't have much in my fridge right now. I have a lot of food in my cupboard, and I have food in my freezer, But my fridge, I don't keep a lot of things that are refrigerated because I don't like things that expire too quickly, because it stresses me out thinking about like having food that might go bad before I eat it, which is sort of an irrational fear because if you can't tell, I'm fat. I like food a lot. I eat a lot. So I really shouldn't have the fear that I'm not going to eat something fast enough, because usually when I have food that's about to expire, the problem is that it's gone faster than like I eat it really before it expires. I usually eat it before it expires. So almost always. So that's a really irrational fear for me to have. But currently, there's peppers in my fridge, and that's stressing me out thinking about I have to eat these peppers before they go bad, especially when it comes to fruits and vegetables. I get really stressed out thinking about having to eat fruits and vegetables because they might go bad before I eat them, and then that's a massive waste of money, and I hate wasting money. Next question. Do you prefer to eat at home or eat out? I don't like preparing food. I would rather buy food from a restaurant, but I'd rather eat it at home. I don't want to eat at the restaurant. Well, actually, I don't know if that's true, because then I don't have to clean up after myself. You know what? I changed my answer. I like eating out because the food is made for you. You don't have to do the dishes or clean up after yourself. Like, it's not like I make a massive mess and I'm like, clean up for me, you peasants. I'm respectful, but I don't have to clean up after myself. So that's a massive benefit. Next question. Do you prefer to travel or stay close to home? I like the idea of traveling. I would like to travel. I want to see the world. I want to go back to New York. I was there when I was in high school and I loved it. Manhattan, beautiful place. I'd love to go to Paris. I'd love to go to England, Japan, probably other places, but I'm drawing a blank, so I guess those are the main places. In fact, not even England. It's too rainy there. Just Paris, Japan, and New York are pretty much the only places I want to go. But in terms of my anxiety, I have a massive amount of anxiety when it comes to traveling. So as enjoyable as it would be to see the world, it would also stress me out a whole lot. Traveling is so stressful. And I've never been on an airplane before. I've been in a small plane, but not like a commercial passenger plane, you know what I mean? Like I've been on a tiny little 3-person plane, but I've never ridden a commercial airline before, and so I don't know. It sounds stressful. Airports sound extremely stressful. What if you lose your luggage, Or you go to a hotel and, like, what if the hotel is not clean? What if there's bed bugs, Like, there's just so many things that could go wrong. What if you get your passport stolen while you're traveling? What if you catch traveler's diarrhea? Like, there's just so many things that could go wrong when you travel, and I am such an anxious person. So, as much as I'd like to travel, it would stress me the F out. Next question. What is one weird thing about you? Man, there are a lot of weird things about me. I'm just a very weird person. I can't think of one. I think I'm going to go to the next question because I don't know. I'm just a very weird person. Everything about me is weird. Where is your favorite place to shop? There is a clothing store here in London, Ontario, where I live, called For You Consignment, giving them free promo here because literally every piece of clothing that I own, well, not literally, most of what I own, most clothes that I own came from there. It's very cheap. You get good designer brands sometimes, depending on what they have in stock, and it's just a great place. It's like one step up from going to Goodwill, because Goodwill, it's I don't know. I have a perception of Goodwill that it's not as clean as a consignment store. I feel like they're less picky about the inventory they take, and I just feel like the clothing is better at a consignment store because they're interested in making a profit, not just for the store, but for the people who donate the clothes. It's not just like you throw a bunch of clothes in a donation bin and then somebody has to sort through it later. It's like you bring clothes in and they're very specific about what clothes they take. I know because I tried to donate clothes to them and it did not pass the test. They did not like the clothes that I was trying to donate. So they only take quality clothes, and so I feel confident when I shop there that the clothes are going to be good. Next question. We'll do a couple more questions. Maybe 3. How often do you use your phone? Not very often. I usually don't even bring my phone with me when I leave the house, which is very unusual, especially for a millennial. Most of us are glued to our phones, but I just don't get texted that often. Pretty much the only person that I text is my mom. It's never really an emergency. So if my mom texts me and I'm out shopping or something and I don't have my phone with me, I can always answer her text when I get home. So it's not really a big rush or anything, you know? Did I say 2 or 3 more questions? Whatever. 2 more questions. What's the worst gift you've ever received? The worst gift I've ever received. One time for my birthday, my friend gave me a box, just an empty box. It was supposed to be a CD-ROM game. Do you remember when games used to come on CDs? It was supposed to be a video game, but I opened the box and it was empty, so I got an empty box for my birthday. Last question. What is your favorite store in the mall? My favorite store in the mall... Well, the mall that I go to is White Oaks Mall, and I only ever go to the Walmart there. I know Walmart is a shady corporation, and you shouldn't support them for various reasons, because, I know Walmart is not the most ethical place to shop. I am aware of that, but I'm broke, and Walmart is cheap, so I go to Walmart. I don't know if that counts as a mall store, though, because it is part of the mall, but it's also kind of its own thing. So if I had to think of a store that only exists in malls, I don't really know. Again, I don't really go anywhere in the mall other than Walmart. So that's going to have to be my answer. I'm just going to go with Walmart because YOLO. One more question. I'm going to do one more question. What would motivate you to run a marathon? Ooh, I hate running. I don't like exercise. I know it's good for you, but I'm not the biggest fan of it, and I really don't like running. It would take a lot for me to run a marathon, but the answer is money. I would do most things for like, if you offered me enough money, I would do most things. There's not a lot I wouldn't do for a substantial amount of cash. So, yeah, how much money would you have to pay me to run a marathon? At least $1,000, and maybe that's low. Maybe I'm underestimating how much somebody might pay me to run a marathon. But anything under $1,000, I'm not doing it. In fact, preferably $10,000. I would say $10,000 would be a good amount of money to get me to run a marathon. Anyway, that's all. Have a great day. Stay frosty. Bye.